You know, here's another part. Here's a part of the culture that I abhor. Island time.
Yes.
Island time. Now, island time is a thing here on Oahu. You're like, Pastor Thompson, what is island time? That sounds fun. You know, and a lot of people think it is fun to just, you know, not care what time they get to things. And I'm really glad that nobody was late this morning because, you know, I was like, I'm going to preach it anyway. I'm going to rip your face. So, what is island time? It's a system of time which others sometimes derogatorily ascribe to islanders. Examples: Hawaiians or Fijians, which they sometimes ascribe to themselves to account for their supposed tendency to be leisurely, not rigorous about scheduling, and often tardy. What is tardy? It's being late. And so it's a thing like, don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right. I'll get there when I get there. You see where music can influence the way you think about things?
Right.
You see how just everybody making excuses for being late all the time can be a reason why you're late all the time? Everybody else is late, so what difference does it make? Look, I don't want our church to be known as being an island time Baptist church. You know, we should strive to be on time as much as we possibly can. Now, does that mean nobody's ever late for anything? Of course, it is an island. And like Brother David said, it's a living and breathing thing when it comes to the traffic. I understand that. But you know what? Sometimes you just need to leave earlier. And so if you're the one that's always late, you're the one that's always tardy, and you just don't care, then, you know, that's a wicked way to think about things. It's to be just too leisurely, to be not rigorous about your scheduling at all. It's not a good aspect. It's not a Christian quality. Because if everything's supposed to be done decently and in order, doesn't it make sense that everybody's on time for church? I mean, how can you do things decently and in order when everybody's late for church? And I'm glad nobody was late this morning. Amen. Great job, everybody. But, you know, but it is something in the culture in the islands, and it's probably any island in the Pacific, where just, you know, hey, don't worry, you know, we're on vacation. It's okay to be late. You know, it's not okay. Turn to Colossians chapter 3, verse 22. I'm going to read a couple verses to you. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all thy might. Hey, if you're going to go to church with all your might. Amen. And wouldn't that include being on time? Yes. Wouldn't that include singing out to the Lord? Wouldn't that include, you know, anything that you find to do? Anything that you want to do in this life, you should do it with all your might, according to the Bible here. James chapter 4, verse 17 says, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. When you know you're supposed to be doing something right as a Christian and you don't do it, it's sin. Right. And so if you know you should be on time for church, then what is that? Then you should understand it is sin. To just have that attitude is what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you're ever late that it's that it's a sin, but if it's constant, if it's a constant leisurely attitude where you just don't care, because when you're late, it does affect other people. It does affect the rest of the, you know, it affects a pastor when he gets up and everybody starts walking in when he's preaching. Right. It's distracting and it's rude. So we should try our best as Christians to do everything with all of our might. Here in Colossians chapter 3, look at verse 22. It says, servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart. What does it say? Fearing God. Even in your secular jobs, you know, you're supposed to be doing, you know, obviously you work for that company, you work for that boss, but who are we ultimately supposed to be fearing? God, right? Look what it says in verse 23. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men. When you're not being late, it's not just because you don't want to affect everybody else here, it's because you don't want to affect God. And so it says, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord, ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. Who are we ultimately serving here today? We're serving the Lord. And so hey, island time should not be a part of our culture at this church. We need to abhor island time. We need to abhor that thought process that would put us in a place where we're just lackadaisical and just leisurely coming to church. Hey, go to church with all your might. So we need to strive to be on time and start on time. Again, I don't want our church to be known for that.